I am here with a very, very special guest, an OG from Vanderpump Rules, one of the first ladies of TomTom. You know I'm talking about the one and only Katie Maloney Schwartz. Hey, Katie.
Hi, thanks
How
for
are
that
you?
intro.
Oh, well,
I'm
of course, of course. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm out here surviving.
Yes, we're all doing what we can. I mean, the past 2 years has been such a roller coaster, and I think we were all hoping that 2022 was going to be the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm not so sure about that anymore.
I think I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to follow your lead then and hope for the best. Well, it's so great to have you here. Thank you so much. You may or may not know, but this is actually our first episode ever of the Blonde Hair Black Heart podcast. So, but now before you get too scared, I'm not new at this. I have another show that I host called The Church of Housewives. So I've been interviewing housewives and Bravo Lebs for some time now, but in 2022, I decided to start this new show. And I'm so excited to have you as my very first guest. So thank you so much.
Well, I feel very honored.
Oh, well, you should. You should. So I've been a fan of Vanderpump Rules since the beginning. It's such a great show, and it's probably the most successful Bravo spinoff show ever. How did you first hear about the show? How did it kind of come about in your world, and how did you first get involved in it?
Well, I was working at Sir. And I had been there for about 2 years. And so I'd been there before Lisa had started Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and before the lounge was open. And they had called a staff meeting. And I think we all thought it was just going to be about the lounge and kind of what to expect when that was going to open. And we got there, and Lisa was just like, "So we're going to do a show here, and it's going to be with y'all, with the staff here, and we want to talk to all of you, or they kind of left it open to people that were interested. They weren't going to hold anyone hostage, or
Right.
they didn't want anyone that didn't want to be involved to be forced to partake in it. So I think at that point, me, Kristen, and Stassi all just looked at each other and were like, yes,
This is
hell
it.
yes, yeah. And so yeah, they just kind of sat down. We sat down with Lisa and Natalie and Guillermo, and they just asked us, so who are you friends with? Who do you hate? Who have you slept with? All of those things. Who are you dating? And I think I was the first one to go. And when I was just like, yeah, so I'm best friends with Kristen and Stassi, and all of our boyfriends are best friends, and they all used to live together, and we all hang out and we fight and we, you know, break up with each other all the time. It was just chaos. And they were
Yeah.
just like, holy shit.
Do you
So
think Lisa had some idea of what was going on in your guys' little clique, or was she really just kind of leaving it open and letting the casting chips fall where they may?
I don't think she knew what was going on within our little clique. I think she knew that, the staff was a little, provocative, if you
Yeah.
will. But I don't think she knew the extent or, in terms of within our little clique.
Yeah,
But
well, I think people assume,
yeah.
especially that those first couple seasons, I mean, they're just so wrought with drama and right from the jump, you know. So I think a lot of people assume like, okay, the show was built around this group of friends, but it's interesting to hear that, she had the concept first and then you guys kind of formed the show into what it is.
Yeah, I think we kind of were lightning in a bottle. I think she had a great idea, and then when she heard that there was this core group within the staff who was crazy and insane and already this, firecracker of a quad, if you will,
Yeah.
she was just like, yes.
Yeah, totally. Like you said, lightning in a bottle. Now, did you think that you and Schwartz would be the last men standing at the end of all of this? I mean, you guys have always been my favorite couple. I love you. To me, you've always kind of been like the everyman and every woman of the group, like maybe the voice of the people a little bit. And I love seeing you guys together. And I'm so happy that you guys have, made it.
Well, thank you. I mean, yes and no. I didn't think we would be the last. I think we would last, but I didn't know that everyone else would break. I don't know. Maybe in the back of mine, I did. I don't know. I
There were
mean,
probably some couples that you had a hunch they weren't going to make it.
yeah. I mean, I it's kind of crazy when you stop and think about it, that we've been together for, gosh, it'll be 12 years this
Wow.
summer. But yeah, I
That's
mean,
amazing.
we're like the grandma and grandpas of the couple.
Oh my gosh.
So
But that's so fun. And at this point, you know, with the casting having gone through so many shifts and everyone going through so many different changes in their own lives, to me, you guys are kind of like that foundation that's still there. You bring us back home, you know. So it's really nice that you guys are still on the show. I'm happy about that.
I'm happy about it too.
So
Yeah.
with that said, what has it been like this season filming without, you know, some of those OG cast members with you, like Stassi and Kristen and Jackson, Brittany are gone. How has that been?
It was it was weird at first, obviously, because it was 8 years, 8 seasons with everyone, and it wasn't just coworkers in a job. It was my family,
Right.
so it took some getting used to. It felt like I had limbs missing, if you
Yeah.
will.
Well, it's so different than like, you know, with the Housewives when a lot of them are really only friends with each other because of the show. I mean, they're
Yeah.
coworkers more than anything, but you guys really were friends first. So, I mean, is it weird like hosting events or throwing parties and not being able to invite them? Or like, are they there just in the background, not on camera and we don't see them? Like, what's going on?
No, they were never there. I mean, it would have been weird if there was some really kind of life moment kind of party that they weren't there for, obviously. But I mean, yeah, it was just weird in general, just not having him there and still doing the show. It just always kind of felt like there was somebody missing.
Yeah.
um I just, yeah, but I mean, it was still, we still had a great time and a great season. It just was different. It
Yeah.
didn't,
Did you feel like some of those relationships on the current season were maybe a little bit more forced, similar to like I was saying about the Real Housewives? Like you're kind of just, you know, you're across from a coworker, you have to talk to them. It's not like this is your best friend of 10 years. Did you feel like those dynamics were maybe put on a little bit, or you know, did you really get close with the newcomers? I'm thinking, you know, like Charlie and Brock and all of them.
Yeah, I don't think it was like necessarily like forced. It was definitely an opportunity to get to know people that I didn't, know very much before. Like, Charlie, her and I didn't get to know each other her first season on very much. I didn't spend a lot of time with her. And so I did get an opportunity to get to know her and get close with her. And I genuinely adore her. I think she's so much fun. She's so sweet. So it wasn't necessarily forced, but we did just spend more time together than we normally had in the past.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Although it was definitely sad for us long-term fans to, you know, feel the difference with those OG cast members gone. I was really happy that we did get more of Charlie. I feel like last
Mhm.
season she had some really great moments, but they were so few and far between.
Yeah.
And then I remember by the last reunion when she was calling Jax old man and everything, I just was like, it was so outrageous that I was like, oh, she needs more airtime. Like get this girl more screen time, please. So it's been nice to see her have more moments this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back to, you know, those OG cast members, do you foresee them, any of them ever coming back on the show? I mean, do you think Stassi or Kristen could ever come back, or do you think that door is closed?
God, I mean, I have no idea. I always like to assume that the doors are never closed, but I'm like the last person to ask. I never have any idea what the future of the show holds. I feel like we always kind of find out about renewals and everything like that when everybody else does.
Yeah.
So I mean, of course, I would, I would love that, but I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. When we
Yeah.
last left you and the Witches of WeHo, there was a severe fracture in the group between you and Stassi and Kristen. And
Mhm.
obviously, you know, we keep up with you all on social media, and we've seen that you guys have kind of mended those fences and have reformed those friendships. Can you tell us kind of what happened there and how you guys came back together and, you know,
Yeah.
reformed the coven?
I mean, I think over the years and even prior to this show, our dynamic and our friendship, you've seen us have falling outs and come back together in reconciliation. Like we've had kind of like a sisterhood, very very much of like a sister type relationship and type bond, where we've given each other space, if you will, or
Right.
taken time apart, and so we've and then we found our way back to one another. And when Kristen and Stassi were let go from the show, I think it was just we kind of like leaned on one another. It was a bit of a um it was a difficult time, and I think whatever I was holding on to with Kristen, or she was holding on to with me, we kind of just let that go, and it was just not important at the time, and I just wanted to be a friend to her and just be there for her, and um support her during that time, regardless of everything. She just needed a friend.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes, to your point about those long-term friendships and, you have to give each other space and then you can come back. Sometimes I think those are the best friendships to have, the ones where you really can um, have those deep fractures, but you're able to mend them. Think far
Yeah.
too often we have friendships that are very surface level and you kind of just, skirt around your discomforts, or you don't, you're not really open about your boundaries for the sake of the friendship. And I've always admired that your group of friends has no boundaries, for better or worse. So,
Oh,
you guys
I know.
definitely are always very honest with each other. So,
Yeah, I know. I think a lot of people think it's insane that they're like, how can you guys, say and do the things and betray and all that and then be friends? I'm like, because when it's all out there, when you're that brutally honest, or when you were hurt that bad by somebody, it's like, what else can go? I mean,
right.
I think if you can forgive the worst in somebody, that's when you're getting to a really honest place with them.
Yeah, it's raw. And that's when you're seeing, like, the real versions of these people. Maybe not the best versions of them, but you're getting to know every version of them, which I think is really
Yeah.
important in friendships. Speaking of friendships, you and Lala have become really, really close. And that was a friendship that didn't start out the best, but
Yeah.
you guys also, it seems like you've leaned on each other a lot this season as well.
Yeah, Lala and I mean, from the time it was a slow build, from the time we sort of apologized and put everything behind us. I think at the reunion, I can't even remember what year that was. It was like 4 years ago at this
Right.
point. We started building a friendship and trust with one another again, and it was slow, but we really have become really great friends, and I think we found that we had a lot more in common than we realized. And I love the girls so much, and over the last 2 years, 2 3 years especially, we've become incredibly close. And yeah, I love
Yeah.
her. We're like sister wives from Utah.
Yeah. Well, she unfortunately has had a very rough last month or two. How's she doing?
I would say today she's doing great. I think
Good.
she's feeling really, really strong, and ready just to like take on the world.
Good. Good for her. She's someone that seems to be able to bounce back pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, she has a very like tough exterior, and I think that's sort of like her defense sort of mechanism, preservation
Right.
for oneself, if you will. But she is also, very um tender.
Hmm.
She's not as tough as one might seem. She is very vulnerable, and has a very soft interior.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we saw that with her sucking on the baby bottles. We got a little bit of that innocence from her.
In a
Now,
weird way, yeah, I
exactly.
guess
Yeah.
that would display that side of
Right.
her.
Now, when she first got together with Randall, that was an issue on the show, and a lot of people had their speculations and their doubts about that. But it seems like things had really shifted, and everyone was really, really fond of Randall and of their relationship. Were you, caught off guard by this, or did you kind of see the signs?
I didn't see any signs, seeing people together, you don't see that, I mean, I guess you could have said like, well, judging by everything and how it's
Right.
always hindsight's always 2020, of
Yeah,
course, but like, no, because I mean, I saw the way he treated her and the way he loved her so, so much. I mean, like, no.
yeah,
And when, when someone's saying that you want to believe the best in them. You want to give them the benefit of the doubt.
of course.
So why, why would you?
Yeah.
I
Now
don't
I
know.
know he became close with a lot of the guys. Do you think that he will remain close with the guys? Like if, for example, if Schwartz came in tomorrow and was like, "Hey, Randall wants to go golfing this weekend," would that be okay?
I don't foresee that happening. I think
Yeah.
there's been a definite space that's happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's probably for the best and fair. So obviously, Randall and Lala breaking up was, a big shock. Another big shock in the Pump Rules world was James and Raquel breaking up, and this one I think
Mm.
caught everyone by surprise. Was this one a surprise to you? I mean, you historically haven't gotten along with James, but again, it seems like things have kind of shifted lately, and you were friendly with him and friendly with Raquel.
Yeah, yes, I was very surprised by it because, I didn't know Raquel too well. I didn't spend a lot of time with James and Raquel. I know that, like any relationship, there's, it's not perfect. People fight, but they seemed very committed to their relationship and working through their problems. So, and just because they just just got engaged and just celebrated their engagement like mere months ago, it was very surprising. It
Yeah.
seemed very sudden and kind of out of the blue. And but I'm proud of Raquel and I'm proud of James for recognizing that they're not meant to be together. I think that takes a lot of courage and a lot of maturity to do that. I think uh, I think especially in Raquel's case, when she met James, she was very young. And not to get all scientific about it, but your frontal lobes, the front part of your brain, isn't even formed
Right.
until she's basically the age that she is now.
Yeah.
So, I think maybe she just kind of grew up and realized that maybe they want different things and maybe they're not the same people, or not
Yeah.
that they're not the same people obviously, but they went in different directions. And it sometimes getting engaged and contemplating the future together, and it really kind of wakes you up.
Right.
So
Totally. Yeah. It shines a light on everything that you should be thinking about, or everything that should be ready to go and everything that's not ready. So yeah, I definitely can feel that.
yeah.
Now, obviously, James has had a roller coaster of a time on Vanderpump Rules. We saw him in his relationship with Kristen. She, has made some comments about, his temper, and whether he may or may not have been physical. I know this past week on Sheena's podcast, Raquel made some implications of just how she was a little bit scared of him at the end and afraid to break up, not knowing how he was going to respond. I mean, are these things that you, on the outside, again, no one knows what's going on behind closed doors, but have you seen James really rein in his anger? It's kind of hard this season to tell, because sometimes he is really toned down, and then other times he's like screaming about nonsense. So where do you stand on that?
Yeah, I've seen him struggle with getting a handle on it, and in some ways, I identify with the rage in him because I struggled with, my own temper and it kind of getting away from me, and having a hard time sort of like reining it in. We're different in the aspects of it
Right.
all. But I don't think, yeah, I think he struggles with managing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, again, I'm no doctor. Like we're not doctors here, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
seems to me that the issue isn't necessarily the substances. The substances just kind of exacerbate the issue, which is more of like a mental health anger thing.
Yeah, I think it's coming from somewhere inside. It's not necessarily that it's not being triggered by substance. Being triggered by something emotional. It's coming
Right.
from somewhere inside of him that, I again, I'm
Yeah.
not a therapist,
Right.
or a doctor. I can't really, I'm not going to sit here and diagnose it, but
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's tough.
Yeah,
It's really tough.
it is really tough, and I think it's important, for us to have representations of people going through those struggles on screen. No matter how difficult and ugly it can be to watch, it's really important. And hopefully, James's story and Raquel's story have helped the viewers.
Mhm.
I think it's a safe bet that it definitely has. So now their breakup kind of coincided with the reunion taping, and a lot of people were speculating that they broke up during the reunion. Now, going into the reunion, did you know that they were no longer together?
I had no idea.
Leaving the reunion, did you know that they were no longer together?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's what I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have to ask, what's going on with you and Tom Sandy? And by the way, when did people start calling him Sandy? That like
I
seems to have come out of nowhere.
I've always called him Sandoval,
Hmm.
just because Tom is not that gets confused because there's two
Right.
Toms. So it's always like Schwartz and Sandoval. I've heard Tom Schwartz call him T Sand
Hmm.
sometimes. But yeah, I don't know when Sandy came about.
Yeah. I
I'm not
think he
sure.
kind of just pulled that one out of his back pocket and decided to run with it.
Yeah. We're good. I think at the end of the day we'll always be good, but it got very muddy, I'll
Yeah.
say. I never wanted it to get that way. That was never my intention to come in and fuck it up. I, you know, I wanted to I my whole intention to ever try to even remotely get involved with the bar was just wanting to like help out
Yeah. And
and
be supportive.
eventually work there and be supportive and be like, hey, where can I help out? This is a huge undertaking. Not that I know from personal experience from starting a bar, because I haven't, but I could help out in some capacity. And then when it's open, I'd love to like work there and whatever that means or whatever that looks like.
Yeah.
Let me know, and and also, and then obviously Schwartz had some issues that he was sort of talking to me at home about, feeling that his ideas or things that he felt that Sandoval was saying, from the name to some other things that he was frustrated about. And he just was like, well, when Sandoval has an idea in his head, you can't really
Right.
convince him otherwise, but
Right.
maybe I don't know, maybe we can plant some seeds of doubt. And I was like, okay, well, then let's do that, because if you don't like something, you have to like this is your thing too, and you have to feel proud of it, and you don't want to think back and have regrets or have resentment built inside of you because
Right.
you didn't say anything. You can't let that happen. He's like, I know.
Yeah.
And then everything went to shit.
I just, I'm a firm believer that especially once you're married, like what's mine is yours. And so, especially when you're dealing with like the financial aspect of it, like your husband is investing money. I imagine that, you guys share finances. That's your money too. It's also your business. It's to me, it's weird that someone would expect you to not want to be involved.
Yeah, I mean, it's not so much that like we share finances, but it's like I'm invested in a future with him.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's our future, and also like, God forbid something happens to his life tomorrow. Legally,
Right.
we are partners in life, and I
Yeah.
would absorb his finances and his
Yeah.
financial situation. So
Right.
if he has a loan on this bar that is a debt, guess who absorbs that debt? I
Exactly.
do. So if the success of this bar is an interest of mine, and
Absolutely.
there's just no way around that. So for me to just be like, I don't care, this is his thing, like, of course it's his thing, and I'm not trying to like come in and
take it over.
shit all over it,
Right.
take over it. But like, you know, if he's not happy about something, I'm going to be concerned about that.
Yeah. Well, and I think that we've seen Ariana, especially, you know, likes to have this sense of independence, especially when dealing with projects. You know, initially when they were doing the cocktail book together, she had a hard time with that and she wanted to do it independently. So maybe some of that has kind of rubbed off on him, and he is just, you know, in that dynamic where they think and operate very independently. So maybe it's hard for him to grasp that that's not what all couples are like.
And is that's not, yeah, but I think that is kind of more on the rarer side of things,
Totally.
you know, and it's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but there's
Right.
also nothing wrong with the way I operate either. And I don't need to be crucified for it.
Right, right. Well, I mean, imagine if, you know, Lisa told Ken, you're never allowed to come to Sir and have an opinion about anything. You know, this isn't your restaurant. It'd be
Yeah.
ridiculous, you know?
And
So
yeah, and I was never trying to be a third partner in anything, you know, either. I just that, you know, Schwartz just needed he asked me for help getting a message
yeah,
across.
yeah.
And Sandoval didn't want to listen. And it's like you're not, see, this is what the problem is.
Exactly. So what do you think it is about Sandoval that you just don't seem to really gel with? Because it's been, you know, even before this, you guys have had, you know, issues spanning back over years. So
I mean, I get in trouble every time I say this, but I feel like it really is like an ego problem. And I don't like, and that's, and even saying that is like, it has a problem with it, but it's just like, it doesn't mean that like you have, like you're full of yourself or anything like that. But when you can't take a step back and say like, okay, well, maybe I need to like listen more, pay attention more. Like maybe it's not my, you know, maybe I'm not the most important voice in the room.
right.
Just listen, you know, I think that's it, that is an ego issue right there.
Yeah.
And I have a problem with that when other people can't take a step back and
Yeah.
get out of their own way and everyone else's way too.
Right. Well, and
And
it's
I know
very
a lot of
obvious.
people don't like when I say those things because whatever, but
But
that
it's
is an
the
issue.
truth. No, it's the truth. And as a viewer, you know, we see it too, because obviously none of you guys are perfect, and all of you guys have had your moments where you've had to really fall on your sword and own up to your shit and apologize to the people that you've hurt. I mean, even Jax did it. So it's interesting. I feel like we've never really seen Tom do that at any reunion. He's never really owned anything. So I would agree for sure, but I don't have to answer to him. So it's easier for me to say that.
Yeah, I mean, it just, I think he has so many amazing qualities and is a fantastic friend and cares and loves so hard. And I appreciate so much about him. I appreciate that so much about him. You know, I just think that when he can't just realize that he might be wrong about something, it
Yeah.
gets so frustrating.
Right. Well, let's change the tone a little bit. Say 5 nice things about Tom Sandoval.
I think I just said a lot of nice things
Yeah.
about
Well,
him.
like specific things that you like about him.
I think that he has such you know, zest and, you know, excitement for life. Like when he gets excited about a project, he likes to go all in 150%. Like he doesn't just do things like half-assed, that's for sure. Like he wants to go balls to the wall
Right.
about it. And, you know, there's no denying that. He also wants to, you know, do the best things for his friends. He wants to, you know, like when it was our wedding and he wanted, you know, Tom's brothers to
Right.
come out, and he, you know, he really wants to do special things and make people feel special and loved and appreciated, you know. You know, he's a very like emotional dude and it comes from a good heart, you know. His heart's very big and I love that about him. He's got, you know, great style, he's got good flair. What else?
I got one more. Can you do it?
He's got good like hair and good eyebrows.
There you go. He's well groomed.
He's a good looking dude, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
will say he is like costume party inspiration for sure.
Yeah.
Any event where there's a theme, he just kills it.
he
It's
can
goals.
nail a theme.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So what's going on with the sandwich shop? Where are we with that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. So the sandwich shop, it was like always like this gonna be a sandwich shop. It's definitely like evolved into like a little bit more.
Ooh, I love
It's,
that. Tell me.
it's like I don't want to like say like too much, but because I want to leave a little bit of
Right.
mystery. But yeah, I think, when we said the name, people are like, well, what is the sandwiches? Because it's really kind of going to be about an experience and the whole um vibe and atmosphere. We really took inspiration from, like sort of like the European cafe vibe, and we want the sandwiches to be less, subs and deli type sandwiches, and really more of that sort of like gourmet European type sandwich.
Gotcha.
Like the Fistel sandwiches, the little like baguettes, like that
Right.
kind of thing. We want to have like beer and wine based cocktails. We want to have like an element of like retail in there. We want it to be like a dine in kind of experience as
How
well. Like come and
cool.
sit down, have some wine, listen to some good music, so it's going to be a little more of that type of vibe and less of like a come in and get your sandwich and dip.
Right, right. It's not a Subway.
It's not a Subway, it's not a deli, it's not, and the whole thing of it being this sort of um unapologetically feminine is because we feel like the sandwich space is so like male dominated. We have like the Jimmy Johns and the Jersey Mikes and the Uncle
Yeah.
Polly's and the Ikes, and it just feels like, and not to be like sexist about it, but it just feels like we need something that just feels like, the the feminine energy into this
Yeah.
space.
Absolutely.
Sometimes people don't want a meatball grinder with a Pepsid on the side.
Right.
Sometimes you just want like I love sandwiches, and there's some really great sandwich places around town where you can get these types of sandwiches that I'm speaking of, but they're not available to our like where we are in our in our community where we
Yeah.
live over here. So we want to bring that here.
That's awesome.
So yeah, we're very very excited. So because it's taken us some time to flesh it out, and we've been working with some really incredible consultants that have worked with other restaurants and people around Los Angeles, and they've been amazing. They're brilliant. It's been such a learning experience, just working out, budgeting and numbers and all of that. We're not going in blind, and we're not just gonna willy-nilly this.
That's awesome. That's
We're
so cool.
yeah,
And it's called Something About Her, right?
yeah.
How cool. That's awesome. I was before you, because I think you said on like the most recent episode you revealed what the name was, and before that, leading up to it, I was like, I really hope it's something with bologna, like Katie Maloney's bologna shop or
Oh
something. But now
no, no,
knowing the
yeah.
vibe of the place, I think the name you picked works a little
Yeah,
better.
we didn't want our names. We didn't want any kind of like sandwich puns or anything
Right.
like that. We wanted something like I love names that don't have like anything to do with it, but just kind of have like a nice sort of like, I don't know, ring
Yeah.
to it that
There's
feels.
something about it, you know?
Yeah, there's just some like there's something about our sandwiches,
Yeah.
and so we've been working on some fun like branding ideas and all of that. It's
That's
it's
so fun. I'm so excited. I can't wait
exciting.
to see all of that play out. I'm hoping and assuming we'll see that on the next season.
Well, I'm hoping and assuming we get another season. I
Okay, all
don't
right.
know. We shall see.
Yeah. Okay, so we briefly touched on the reunion a little bit. What can we expect from the reunion this season?
Well, it was a different kind of reunion because some of us were not present in studio
Oh,
for
okay, so
it.
it was like a half and half, like in person
Yeah.
and virtual.
Yeah, unfortunately, I got sick.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, I was around some other people that was not able for
Yeah.
they were
It,
not able to join as well. It sucks.
yeah.
I hate COVID.
It happens. I feel like everyone's, Christmases were the same way. Everyone was
Yeah,
just dropping like flies.
sign of the times, but so yeah, that definitely changed up the vibe of it, having some people remote, some people not remote, but I mean, definitely hashing some stuff out, between, obviously Tom and I had some stuff to talk about. Um, I think, you know, a lot of Lala definitely had some stuff to talk about when it came to like with her and Brock. Obviously, she talks about some stuff with her and Randall, and we learned about James and Raquel.
Yeah.
You know, it was yeah. I
Well,
can't, I'm not
I'm
allowed to say
excited.
too much, but yeah, I think it's a different kind of reunion, but it's, you know, they always deliver.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I can't wait. Well, those are the majority of the questions I have for you. Do you have a few minutes for a very quick game though?
Sure, yeah.
Okay, cool. I love to play just little fun games. So I wanted to play a quick few rounds of Would You Rather. So the first one, would you rather be styled by Sheena exclusively every day for a full year or have to listen to Good as Gold on loop every day for a month?
Like, okay, I'm listening to it once a day or like
No,
all
like
day long.
on loop all day long. Or for a full year, Sheena decides every article of clothing that you wear.
Sheena can style me.
Okay.
I
Okay.
don't mind.
Do you
I
think her
don't.
style has gotten better?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the way she dresses. The thing is she kind of like just sticks to like like a thing. Like she kind of has like a uniform, you know?
Yeah.
She finds what she likes and what like is like working for her and like what she likes on her body, and she just sort of like sticks to a thing, and like I'm
Yeah.
not mad at that, you know?
So you'd wear the Sheena uniform. Love it.
Well, I mean, I would hope that she would find something that she likes on me and I wouldn't just be wearing like a crop top.
I think well that's kind of what I had in mind was
I
like
don't know
so
if I,
maybe would you dress up like Sheena for a year?
I mean, oh wait, the thing is, it's just it looks so good on her, it would not look good on me. So I don't think I could. I couldn't not pull off what Sheena wears.
Yeah. Well,
So I
Good
guess I
as
would have
Gold
to.
is a bop.
So then I'd
So
have to listen to Good as Gold.
it's a good song.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather do a partner swap? Because I can't say husband swap, but would you rather do a partner swap for a month with Ariana or with Sheena?
Oh my God. I would have to say probably with. I mean, it's probably gonna surprise. Probably with Ariana. I mean, I just don't know Brock so well, so I
Yeah,
can't
it's more
like I.
comfort with Tom.
Yeah, I mean, we could figure it out. We might kill each other, but no, we the thing is like Sandoval actually and I we do get along great. We just there's certain things we would just have to avoid some topics.
Right, right. Okay, that's fair. Me and my husband avoid topics all the time. Okay, so this one actually isn't bad. This one I think is like two pretty decent options, but would you rather only be allowed to hire James to DJ any event for the rest of your life? So, birthday parties, your future kids' birthday parties, your funeral, everything. Or only be allowed to drink beverages made by Tom Sandoval for the rest of your life?
Oh, I mean, either one aren't like bad
Right. I kind of
options.
like want to put them both together and just have like the best
Like,
funeral ever, right?
I mean, I'm just trying to think. I mean, I gotta pick James because I think my Tom makes better drinks.
Okay, there you
You
go.
know,
There you go. I think that might have been the most scandalous thing you said this entire interview.
I mean, that is just. I mean, I think I just prefer my Bub's
You
drinks.
you should prefer your
He
Bub's
makes
drinks.
good drinks, but like I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I think it makes sense that you would, lean towards your Tom.
They're both really good though. I'm not gonna lie. It's not like they makes bad drinks.
Yeah. I mean, so I used to live in West Hollywood prior to TomTom opening. And every time I would go to Sir, the drinks were just like incredible and insane. And so I have to imagine that like they're just a higher step up from there even. So it's cool watching them come up with all of it on the show. Is it, and I'm jumping around now, but like, is that all like really authentic too? I mean, are they really sitting around in the kitchen and just like mixing stuff and testing all of that?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Oh yes.
How fun for you though.
It's fun except for when it's like 10 o'clock in the morning and Tom's like he gets an idea and like will go to the grocery store in the morning and come back with a bunch of like herbs and like fruits and all this because he's like was on the treadmill and had an idea and needs to like get it out of his head to like make something, and now I need to try a pistachio like mojito or something. And
Oh
I mean,
my
it's
gosh.
delicious, but now I'm just like, all right,
Yeah.
well, I just
There's some definite like mad scientist vibes going on, which actually would
yeah.
be a pretty cool theme for a bar, if I do say so myself. All right.
Yeah.
Last would you rather? Whose personal training app would you rather download? Gun to head. Jax's or Brock's?
Brock's.
Okay. Fair. It seemed higher budget for sure.
Well, I mean, Brock, like he has a gym. He's like in the gym more often. Like Jack's, like I think he just like he would always just like run on a treadmill, or he would like go to like a workout class. I don't think he knows like how to like put a workout together.
Right. Did
So
anything ever happen with that workout app that he was making like
mm,
years and years ago, eons ago?
no.
Did he ever make those sweaters that he was going to design?
No.
Okay. I didn't think so, but I just wanted to follow up. Oh, now I know you're a fan of the Housewives. Are you watching any of the current shows at all?
I'm watching Salt Lake.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're a Park City girl,
Yeah.
right? Okay. I have to
Yeah.
know because Salt Lake City is being hailed as one of the best housewife cities ever. It is so outrageous. Every single cast member on that show is like an all-star housewife, in my opinion. Was growing up in Park City just like insane? Like, is this what all of the women there are like?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm not saying they don't exist, but Park City, I mean, I don't know. I mean, there was definitely a lot of money,
Yeah.
so like there's definitely, I mean, I'm trying to think about like maybe some like friends, moms and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
like probably, but I just wasn't really maybe paying attention.
Yeah, it's interesting because I feel like, you would expect some of the more scandalous drama, and I'm talking like, the FBI stuff and criminal allegations and cults and all that. You might expect it from more of like from in Beverly Hills or New York, but I think we were all so caught off guard. Salt Lake City came in very inconspicuously
Oh,
and
I knew it was going to be good because I knew with having just throwing in the dynamic of having like the
the Mormon
Mormon
church.
mystery, like I was like, you're gonna get something wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and not only from the ones who were still in it, but from the ones who have left. I mean, yeah,
Well,
it's
it
crazy.
just breeds some interesting types of folk because there's just so I don't even know how to describe it, because there is so much mystery that
Right.
comes with it all, and the people that get away from, I mean, it's just the conversations you have with people that were in the church and then left, and the stories that they have out of it. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Insane.
you just nailed it on the head. The air of mystery that all of these women have is beyond what I think we see in any of the other cities.
Yeah.
There's definitely a lot more than meets the eye, and it's pretty wild because again, as someone who doesn't live in Utah, I was just kind of thinking like, oh, they're just going to be regular old soccer moms, and that
No,
was
no.
not the case. Not the case at all. Could you ever see yourself back in Park City, maybe joining the cast of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake?
I mean, never say never. Honestly, of all like the franchises, I mean, I mean, I don't see myself like leaving LA anytime soon, but like I could definitely like that's when I could see myself on. I mean, even though I live here, I'm not like Beverly Hills material.
Right.
I'm just not. And I'm good, I'm friends with um Whitney and Heather. I love them so much. But I mean, I don't know. It's not like
Yeah.
I'm like moving back anytime soon.
Right.
I don't
Well, it's
know.
good to know that there's always a place to land. Oh, Katie, this was such a blast. Thank you so much for joining me for our very first episode. This was so much fun. Can you tell all of our
Yay.
listeners where to find you?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm on Instagram at Music Kills Kate. Don't ask.
And
And
then,
oh yeah, and I also have a podcast. You can check.
yes.
I have episodes out every Friday. It's called You're Gonna Love Me.
Amazing. And then don't forget to watch Vanderpump Rules on Tuesday nights on Bravo. Katie, thank you so much for being here. This was so fun.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course.